Metaphysical Endnote 7. Interpreting the Energy. In the old days at Delphi, the readings were not just between client and psychic seer. There was a third person. Their task was to interpret what the psychic saw for the querent, the person asking the questions. This interpreter was adept at understanding psychic energy, its symbols, and the myriad of ways energy can be construed. These days, as psychics, we are the readers and the interpreters of energy. In my process, I adhere to 3 rules. The first rule: be gentle and do no harm. As every experience is for our ultimate growth, there is no good or bad news. But very few of us would declare, when going through hard times, "Oh goody, another painful learning experience." When something negative presents itself in the reading, such as an impending illness, as a reader I have several choices. Blurt it out: "Oh look, you're going to get cancer." Trust me, I have been to this kind of psychic, and you need to avoid them like the plague. While the psychic information might be correct, he or she could also be misinterpreting. The potential might exist for cancer, but it may not manifest. But what this psychic has done with his or her forecast is implant the seed of an idea in the client's consciousness. If you water and feed that belief with fear, it could become a reality. Avoid the topic altogether. Avoiding the beginnings of something negative is also a disservice to your querent and not practicing integrity. Denial, apathy, and resistance can get us into as much trouble as diving headlong into the abyss without wings. First check with my client to see if he is already aware of this problem. I might ask, "How's your health?" He might respond, "I've got cancer," or "Something's not right," or "Great." Then I present his potential future in a way that empowers him to change it and at the same time deepens his spiritual understanding of why this illness is manifesting. If we believe that the mind-spirit absolutely has power over the body, then it does. So I remind him that he can choose to heal or not to heal. Going through the illness might be part of his pre-life agreement, and even that can be forgiven. Ask for guidance. When distasteful news doesn't match my perception of the person I'm reading, I sometimes push it aside. But if it is the truth, it will continue to nudge me. In fact, the truth almost nags at me until I put it into words. Then I ask for guidance. How should I phrase this? In what context should I put the information, literally or symbolically? Miraculously, the words then just come tumbling out of my mouth, and I hear the news being communicated in a very wise and loving way, almost as if I'm listening to another entity speaking through me, which of course I am. I often experience a surge of relief as the client seems to understand the information without fear. And whatever the news, always remind the client that psychics can be wrong at least 25% of the time. Our future is a result of the choices we make from the thoughts we think, which come from the beliefs that we harbor in our subconscious. If we want to change our outcome, we need to change our beliefs. Our thoughts and then our actions will automatically readjust. The second rule: don't expect to be right at the time of the reading. My advice to both budding psychics and clients is to give yourself latitude when interpreting. The energy is never wrong, but your translation of it might be. You also need to remember that you are seeing the energy through your limited perception. You will find that the longer you read, the more you will understand that there are many different ways to interpret energy. As in translating dreams, it is about peeling away the layers. I am often able to be extremely specific, giving the minutest and strangest of details. But when I don't feel that absolute knowing, I let the querent know this, and I give as many interpretations of the energy as possible. Clients can then superimpose their reality on my information. They will anyway. The client receiving the information might often dispute the predictions. Some may even want to argue, especially when most of the reading is about future events and people of which they are not yet cognizant. Beware the denial factor. A la Monty Python, I didn't come here for an argument. I can see over the wall, and they can't, so I gently remind them that they won't do anything that they don't want to do. And if I see it, I have to say it. That's my job. In the preamble to my readings, I also advise the client that what I am in fact doing is reading the 6 levels of consciousness of their energy: soul, spirit, subconscious, unconscious, conscious, and higher consciousness. On those levels of mind, I see what they are in the process of manifesting, whether beliefs and thoughts. However, what I see is only one potential. People change their minds, go off in another direction, or, because of fear, delay the predicted outcome. Take it all with a grain of salt, I warn them. If what I say supports you, great. If it doesn't have any bearing on your life, throw it over your left shoulder. Thankfully, some clients, when cautioned of a potentially negative situation, will take heed, change their thinking and their course, and avoid that disaster. And while I like to be as specific and give as many details to the querent as possible, sometimes it behooves a psychic to be more vague. As an example, instead of saying, "Your mother is coming to see you," I might give a broader interpretation by saying, "An older female who feels like family and shows maternal-type energy is coming to visit." Or instead of saying, "I see you going to New York," I change it to, "I see a busy city like New York." Or, there may be a strong connection with that city. The querent will often contort your information to make it fit their perception of their future. When the actual prediction manifests in a different reality, they then understand what you really meant, and they will know the truth. When a prediction comes true, it feels like déjà vu, or a previously dreamt sequence. Instead of promising marriage for an upcoming romance, I use words like significant relationship, and predicting the outcome of a relationship is, I feel, robbing my client of that discovery. Unless that relationship is extremely unhealthy, of course, then I tell them. I find words and phrases that give me as a psychic, or you as a querent, some leeway in interpretation. Giving this leeway does not incur too much liability for the psychic, and the querent then is not tempted to fixate on details. When I do have that absolute knowing, however, I certainly do give my clients the particulars. The third rule, always give the client a gift. When the reading is done, I like to summarize the essence of all the information that has come through in one gift. What is the single message for the client at this time? And that message is always a gift of empowerment, enlightenment, or healing. Whatever is happening, in some way, is for their highest good. Order does come out of chaos, and sooner or later, we all do evolve to a higher vibration and joy. End of chapter 7.